Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the early uploads from the YouTube channel, the Game Theorists. Early works. I'm a huge fan of their work, and I'm pretty sure that you also like their content as well. If you do like their content, please head over and just show support for them. If you do like this video, this video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much. Just comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Thank you. And on with the video.
Get ready for an upgrade because this week we're rebuilding you better, stronger, and faster. Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory, the show that artificially augments your mind every week. I know this may stun a lot of you, but I like smart games. What? At this point, that's about as surprising as saying Tingle from the Legend of Zelda series isn't exactly what you would call straight. I mean, when your breakout titles are color-changing Tingle's Love Balloon Trip, you can just stop pretending. Anyway, this love of brain stimulation means that I get all giddy inside when I spot a smart shooter on the horizon, especially when... shooter. Anyway, this love of brain stimulation means that I get all...
He looks so young and youthful. Oh my god.
Giddy inside when I spot a smart shooter on the horizon, especially when it's the sequel to PC Gamer's best PC game of all time. We're talking Deus Ex: Human Revolution. For those of you unfamiliar with the original, if Borderlands and BioShock had a kid who liked cyberpunk and had an affinity for tinfoil hats, that would be Deus Ex. A futuristic RPG shooter with plasmid-like upgrades and a plot straight out of a Dan Brown novel. But where the original was set in 2052, Human Revolution is a prequel story taking place in 2027, meaning that the nanotechnology that gave you superhuman-like powers in the original hasn't been developed yet, replaced instead by more primitive biomechanical enhancements, human-robot hybrids, or in other words, cyborgs. So the question posed to us today is this: 16 years from now, in 2027, will biomechanical technology have come far enough to enable our own human revolution? Let's find out. Like its predecessor...
Wait, what? I'm sorry? Is that hand mechanical?
7. Will biomechanical technology have come far enough to enable our own human revolution? Let's find out.
Cannot be, right? It's so soon. It's too soon.
Like its predecessor, Human Revolution's augmentations apply to specific body parts, ranging from the eyes and cranium to the arms, legs, torso, and skin. For example, one upgrade for the eyes allows you to see through walls, which happens to be useful both in combat situations and outside the girls' locker room. Ha! Yeah, that's creepy. And yes, though we do...
Good. Glad that you acknowledge that it's creepy.
You indeed have the technology to see through walls, it won't be incorporated into the body anytime soon. However, that's not to say that the eye hasn't been receiving a bionic upgrade. For example, check out Rob Spence, aka Cyborg. This documentary filmmaker lost his right eye as a child, and has since worked with a team of researchers to create a false eye fitted with a tiny wireless camera that allows him to film everything he sees during the day, and then download it onto a computer at night. The eye is also equipped with a glowing red light that sends a clear message to people walking past him on the street. That message? Hey, I'm creepy. He's confident that in 10 years, the technology will be able to link into the brain, allowing the blind to see. But that's already starting to happen. Enter the Argus 2 and similar projects that are experimenting with cameras that transmit visual information wirelessly to electrode arrays implanted in the back of the eye. The electrical pulses are transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve, resulting in very rudimentary sight. But coolest of all these, meet Neil Harbison. He was born with achromatopsia, a condition that restricts him to seeing the world in black and white. However, with the help of an inventor friend, he's now able to see colors by hearing them. That device on his head is also named the Cyborg. Hey, I may use bad puns, but at least they're mostly original. Like sound, light is also a series of wavelengths. Neil's Cyborg is able to slow down those wavelengths from the visible spectrum into the audible range. Red, which has a lower frequency in the color spectrum, becomes one of the lowest pitches. Violet, which is a much higher frequency of light, becomes a higher pitch of sound. However, this also works in reverse, with normal everyday sounds having a color in his mind. For example, Neil perceives the hum of his vacuum cleaner as red, and the white noise of Madrid as a city as part sky blue and part cream. Moving on, you've heard of thumb drives, but how about a ring finger drive? In Human Revolution, one set of cranial augmentations enhances your character's ability to hack into turrets, computers, keypads, and alarm systems. But why use your brain to hack when you can let your fingers do the talking? Like this Finnish programmer who, after losing his ring finger in a 2009 motorcycle accident, had a 2 GB USB drive installed in his prosthesis.
Actually, right now 2 GB is not really that big. You know, maybe go for upgrade, like maybe 200 or 2 TB or 200 TB, maybe.
Ha! That's one way to improve your memory. But seriously, is keeping it on your keychain really that hard? And only 2 gigs? It's about time he upgrade his finger, don't you think? So we have a mechanical finger, but how about a whole arm? Arm enhancements.
Wow! What did you saw?
It is finger, don't you think? So we have a mechanical finger, but how about a whole arm?
My gosh, that must wow, that's impressive.
Arm enhancements in Deus Ex offer a range of awesome skills. Superhuman strength, reducing weapon recoil, and my personal favorite, the ability to break through walls like Kool-Aid's Big Man. Oh yeah! Even though real-life bionic arms may not be able to give you abnormal strength or mascot-like wall-shattering powers, they're still making a huge impact. Take, for instance, the eye-limb, the latest in bionic arms, and the latest to rip off Apple's
There's one picture of
personal favorite, the ability to break through walls like Kool-Aid's Big Man.
Cat.
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
Even though real-life bionic arms may not be
This one. Cat just lifting the entire car up. Wow. That's a strong cat.
able to give you abnormal strength or mascot-like wall-shattering powers, they're still making a huge impact. Take, for instance, the eye-limb, the latest in bionic arms and the latest to rip off Apple's product naming system. It features the first fully articulating prosthetic hand, with 5 independent mechanical fingers that are able to mimic a normal grip, and it's all controlled by 2 contacts sitting on the skin that are able to read the wearer's muscle activity. Just think about moving your hand, and it reacts. The eye-limb might not be able to move fast enough to play the piano like in this Deus Ex ad, but what it lacks in speed, it makes up for in 360-degree rotation. However, if you want someone who is truly a modern-day bionic man, look no further than Jesse Sullivan, a former power line worker who, in 2001, was electrocuted so severely that both his arms had to be amputated. Since then, the Research Institute of Chicago has relocated 4 nerves from Jesse's shoulder to his chest, where they're now able to signal the fine movements of the arms and hand. Like the eye-limb, just thinking about the movement causes slight muscle contractions, which are translated as mechanical movement in the arms. With 2 bionic arms, that officially makes Jesse the first real-life Jax, circa Mortal Kombat 3 when he actually started to become cool. And if there's a bionic arm, that means there's also a leg, right? Absolutely. In the game, upgrading your legs allows you to run farther, jump higher, and move more stealthily, and it's kinda the same in real life. The newest wave of replacement legs uses a series of sensors attached to the ankle of the good leg to read the user's current movement. It then sends this information to software housed in the bionic leg, which translates the information into a movement profile, predicting the next motion the mover desires and then executing it. With power at both the knee and ankle joints, for the first time, those with a false leg can have a normal walking gait, and the ability to climb stairs naturally instead of having to limp using a regular passive prosthesis. But as always, we've saved the best for
is the last
last.
dinner?
Someone who has already begun the real-life
Dance
human
American
revolution by
Revolution.
controlling electronics with his mind. In 2002, Kevin Warwick at Reading University in England implanted a silicone chip into the nerves of his arm. He was then hooked into a computer which read the signals traveling from his brain to his arm, translating these as radio waves. This eventually gave him the ability to control an electric wheelchair and lights with just his brain signals. Ha! He was like a human clapper. He could also hook his brain up to the internet, already a weird thing to be saying, where he was able to get a robotic hand 5,000 kilometers away to copy his own hand's movement. But for his most important experiment, his wife also had a chip installed. It sure takes a special kind of woman. Anyway, the two were hooked up via the
That partner is very supportive.
internet, and when she moved her hand, he was able to feel impulses going through his own body and vice versa. They were actually communicating through just their thoughts in a very rudimentary form of telepathy. Now that's progress. Which brings us back to our initial question. Will we be living out our own Deus Ex in 16 years? In a way, we already are. A central point in the game's story is the struggle between those wanting to stay purely human and those improving on humanity's design through mechanical enhancements. And even though Kevin Warwick guesses that in 30 years everyone will have a chip in their brain, his work has already come under fire. I think the game's right. This issue will come to a head one day. Maybe not as soon as 16 years, but definitely sooner than we think. So the best I can say is this: play the game, experience the future, and decide which side you're gonna be on. I look forward to seeing your discussions in the comments. But hey, it's just a theory. A game theory.
Oh, he finally said it after so many times. He finally said, it's just a game. It's just a. I'm sorry. But hey, it's just a theory. A game theory. He finally have the game part. The part.
Thanks for watching.
The $6.50 man. Augmented in cuteness. Aww. Mr. Bionic. That song, I'm not sure if the younger generation have heard before. I heard it back then. Yes, I heard it before. I think it was a few years earlier than my generation, but well, I still heard it inside for a couple of years. Yeah. So, do you think that it's better to get the upgrades or not the upgrades? I personally think that if you lost 2 arms in a lightning strike, it's better to have 2 more arms. It's better to have 2 arms than 0 arms. Correct? Yeah. What about you? If you have 2 arms and you purposely chop them off just to have 2 mechanical arms, will you do that? I'm not too sure.